Hello VC, this is Tim here, and I'm coming back with the next episode of my 2013 listens. It's been a little over a couple weeks since my last video, and I've listened to a lot more over this last couple weeks than I did the first couple weeks. You've noticed a little difference with me in this video. Yeah, the beard is back temporarily, and oops, get it right. I'm wearing a stocking cap instead of my regular cap. That's because it's a little cold outside with this crazy weather we've been having here in northern Illinois. Last week it was down into the single digits for highs. Then yesterday it was up into the 60s. Then today it's in the 30s and snow. And tomorrow it's only supposed to get into lower teens. So it's been jumping up and down. No wonder everybody's been getting sick around here. But and also with the cap, you notice it's a U.S. Air Force one. I was in the Air Force for 10 years, from 1990 or from 1982 to 1992. When I had to get out because of a medical condition, otherwise I would have stayed for my 20 years. But it's also to salute our men and women presently in any branch of the armed forces or any that have served. I salute all of you. The beard's back temporarily anyway, and I know those that have seen my videos last year, like when I started out with doing videos, I've had a beard back then, and now I have it again. Well, with all that said, I'll start showing the music I've listened to in the past couple of weeks. Starting out with double album set, Climax Blues Band, FM Live. This is like it says, it's a live album. It's 2 CD gatefold, and just, if I remember right, it's from around 1973. And what I so that was interesting. It says recorded live at the Academy of Music, New York, broadcast live on WNEW-FM New York. It talks about the engineer Jim Price of Record Plant Remote, and also it thanks to have a special thanks to Scott Mooney and everyone at WNEW-FM. Well, I've told you before, I was reading the book FM, The Rise and Fall of Rock Radio. It's talked about that in the 70s. Well, Scott Mooney is a big one that he's talked about in there, and it was written by Richard Neer, who was a DJ there at WNEW, one that Scott Mooney had hired on there. But this one has a lot of good songs on it, live songs. I Am Constant's pretty good. They do, I like their cover of Seventh Son on here. It's it's a blues version of Seventh Son. Next up, another live one. Jesse Colin Young, On the Road. It's from 1976. He does some of this songs that he did with the Youngbloods and some of his solo stuff on here. It's on Warner Brothers. Okay, this next one, when I picked it up, I was thinking I was getting a Lighthouse one. It's one that everybody does screw up on at times. I pulled it out to listen to, Okay, this is on Epic, but I'll turn it around. I'll show you who it is. It's Bob Luman. He was pretty much like country at the name of the album. It's Getting Back to Norma. He did some like rockabilly also, and he had a hit from here. The title track was a hit for him. I've listened to it. It's not too bad. On the second side, I like it because he does a couple Chuck Berry classics, Maybelline and Brown Eyed Handsome Man. So I got it for maybe $1, and so I didn't feel too bad about that. Next up, this is soundtrack. I've seen the movie once, but I like the soundtrack a lot better than I liked watching the movie. That's Neil Diamond, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I just like listening to the music on here. It's a gatefold, but the thing I like, how often do you see this when you find this album? Yes, this includes a booklet with it. I got the booklet with it. That came with it. Oh, I have it backwards, I just noticed. Still can't see it, but it has the lettering embossed on it. It has all the lyrics on it. I got this album for 49 cents at a Goodwill. It has of course the songs have Bee and Skybird on it, but my favorite song on it is Dear Father. Okay, here's the guy. I didn't know he had any solo albums out. Of course, everybody knows him from the rock group that he's in. That's John Kay, the frontman of Steppenwolf, of course. And this is called My Spartan Days, and this is from 1973 on ABC Records. I like it. One of the big ones I like on here, he does Drift Away on here. He did it around the same time Dobie Gray recorded Drift Away. So I don't know which one was first. But some of the musicians credits on here too, saying musical contributions are Russ Kunkel, Lee Sklar, Mike Utley, Larry Connecto, Bill Cooper, Vanetta Fields, Stan Farber, Alan O'Day, you know him from Undercover Angel, Daryl Dragon of the Beach Boys, and Captain Antonio. And it shows a lot more on there. But like I said, I like Drift Away on here, and another good one on here is now Easy Evil. Next up is Bob Seger, Beautiful Loser. It's on Capitol Records, of course. It's a Capitol reissue. I just noticed it saying that. It's originally from '75. And of course, the songs I like on here, my favorite song on here is Kathmandu, and it has Beautiful Loser and Traveling Man on here. And also listen to some jazz, some Billy Cobham. It's it's BC, and let's see. And the thing that something you might like about it, there was some water damage on it. I cleaned it up the best I could. But you'll notice it's a white label promo by Columbia. And this one somebody had given to me for free, so you can't beat that price. Here's another one that somebody else gave me for free. Billy Joel, Turnstiles. This is on Columbia also. It's from '76. It's the one with Say Goodbye to Hollywood and New York State of Mind on it. And growing up in the '70s, a lot of people had at least one of this guy's albums back then. I was a teenager then. That's John Denver, Rocky Mountain High. With the hits Rocky Mountain High, For Baby, and Goodbye Again on it. But one of my favorites on here, he does a cover of a Beatles song. That's Mother Nature's Son. And it's on RCA, if I remember right. It's, what year is it? Can't really read it on this buying of this one. I'll have to pull it out. It looks like, because I know RCA usually has, okay, looks like it might be 72 with all the copyrights of the songs. Yep, 1972. And of course, I've always liked this picture here too, his t-shirt. It says, Be Kind to Animals, Kiss a Beaver. You have to remember I was a teenager at the time. Or close to it. Next one. Ian Hunter, You're Never Alone with a Schizophrenic. This one's from, I think it's '79 on Chrysalis Records. This one has a theme song to the Drew Carey Show on it, Cleveland Rocks. And it also has another song that he wrote on it that ended up being a hit for Barry Manilow, the song Ships. Next one, like I always say, this is my favorite blind buy that I've had at a thrift store yet. I got it for $1 at a thrift store. It's McGinnis Flint. McGinnis Flint was formed by Tom McGinnis, who had joined Manfred Mann's 60s band in around '63, playing bass and eventually rhythm guitar until they broke up. And but that was Tom McGinnis, and Huey Flint, who had played drums some for John Mayall. And then also along with them there's Graham Lyle on guitar, mandolin, Benny Gallagher on guitar, bass, and keyboards, and Dennis Colson on keyboards. But they had a minor hit off this album in the States. It got to like within the top 10, if not #1 in England, called When I'm Dead and Gone. But the cover attracted me. There was some water damage, but it cleaned up pretty good. I just like listening to this album. See, I like doing some of these blind buys, especially when they're like in these thrift stores where you can get them for like a quarter or 10 cents, something like that. It's hard to beat, and you can find out to get more interest that way in artists. Here's another one somebody gave me. I might have it already. That's Rod Stewart, Every Picture Tells a Story. Of course, this is the one with like Maggie May and Mandolin One on it, and Reason to Believe. And I know I'm losing US on it, and of course the title track. Okay, I had to go up to Madison for some tests a week ago. After my tests were done, my wife and I stopped at a thrift store on our way out of town. I just looked at the albums. I only had a couple dollars on me, so that limited what I could buy. Well, there were plenty that I liked, but I cut it down to 4 albums. I'm going to show all 4 of them next. First one, the Osmonds, Crazy Horses. Yes, it's in pretty good condition. You notice that the cover's in pretty good condition too. It's from 1972 on MGM, and this album rocks, especially the song Crazy Horses itself. Next one, Cat Stevens, Catchpole at 4 on A&M. This cover isn't in as good of shape as that Osmonds one. It's from 1972, and it has I like the song "Sitting" and "Can't Keep It In" on here. Then another live album, double album. Here at Last, Bee Gees Live. This is from 77 on RSO Records. It has a lot of their hits before Saturday Night Fever. And here's the gatefold in it. And this last one, you could probably classify it as a world album. It had one hit. This person had one hit in the States. But I can't pronounce her name really on her, but everybody knows it as the Singing Nun. And the hit that was offered was Dominique. It's from like 1962 on Philips Records. And what I think's interesting, on the inside, there's a booklet on the inside. Tells the story, in both, and the lyrics in both French and English, which I find to be interesting. Okay, some Foghat, Stone Blue. This is from 78. It's on Bearsville Records. The song Stone Blue was a hit off this one. The song I really like, they do a killer cover of Sweet Home Chicago on it. Mary Hopkin, Postcard. Then it's on Apple Records from '69, produced by Paul McCartney. And yes, this one has Those Were the Days on it. It also has There's No Business Like Show Business on it. And In Charm. It's a good album. People want to ask me online what my opinion was on it. Because I like a lot of them that Paul McCartney produced. It's not bad, actually. It was her first album. Okay, here's a group I'm not a big fan of theirs, but except for like the 60s. I like some of their 60s, especially the earlier stuff. And this album is one of them that I really like. That's the Rolling Stones big hits, High Tide and Green Grass. It's a gatefold with a booklet in it, with various pictures of them. It has a lot of their hits on it. It's on London Records, and it's from 1966. Here's another one that was pretty much a blind buy for me. I got it for 10 cents just before Christmas. Every Mother's Son. I can't remember what year it was released. It's from the 60s, I know. And they had a hit on it called Come and Take a Ride in My Boat. And it even says, right to every Mother's Son fan club. It's on MGM Records. And I liked it. I have a few more albums left to show you, and then I have some tapes. Next up, Dave Edmunds, Nick Lowe, and along with Bill Bremner and Terry Williams. It's Rock Pile, Seconds of Pleasure. I really like Teacher Teacher on here. Heart's pretty good on there. Put You and Hold You. And If Sugar Was as Sweet as You. It's from 1980 on Columbia. I thought this Columbia label was interesting. Instead of the traditional Red Columbia label, it's a black, if you can see it, black, white, and gold Columbia label. Diana Ross, Silk Electric. This is one with muscles on it and So Close on it. And it's a decent album. It's her first one on RCA. It's from 1982. I like some for earlier solo stuff better. Here's one that was given to me, so I can't complain about the condition of the cover. Adamant, Friend or Foe. Of course, it has Hello, I Love You and Goody Two Shoes on it. It's, trying to remember, is this on? Trying to remember, I think this might be on Chrysalis Records also. No, it's on Epic from 1982. And of course, this cap is a good one that I'm wearing for this album. My toque, Bob and Doug McKenzie, The Great White North. This is from 1982 on Mercury. It includes the 12 Days of Christmas on it. Had to listen some by the King. This is albums from '58 on RCA Victor Elvis's Golden Records. Has a bunch of his hits up till that time. Yes, there's some Water Damage, but for 10 cents it's hard to beat. I cleaned up the vinyl and it plays pretty good. And the last of the vinyl I have for this edition is 38 Special Rock and Roll Strategy, 1988 on A&M. This is a promo copy here, and it has hit Second Chance on it, which was her biggest hit. I'm checking something real fast on here. Well, I also find this one to be interesting because instead of the regular A&M, you noticed it's black and with the circular characters in there. I think that for 38. That's the last vinyl I had on there. You might remember in my last one, I showed one cassette. Well, this one I have a few more than one. Starting with, if you can see it down there, trying to get it without so much glare, U2, the Joshua Tree. Of course, it's from 87 on Island Records. It has Where the Streets Have No Name on it. I still haven't seen What I'm Looking For, With or Without You. Bullet the Blue Sky. Red Hill Mining Town. It's just a good tape throughout. This one I'll pull out of the case. One that I got at a thrift store somewhere. I'm not sure what I even paid for it. Guitar rock, hard rock in 70s. It has a lot of good stuff on it, like Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. Trying to remember some of the others, but it's just a compilation. And speaking of compilations, Vintage Music Collector's Series Volume 2. This is all stuff from the 50s, a lot of hits. And it's on MCA from 1986. .38 Special. I don't mean .38 Special, I mean REL Speedwagon, the hits. Maybe that will help too, showing the spine on them. Of course, that's self-explanatory. Carly Simon, Coming Around Again. Of course, it has Coming Around Again on it. And As Time Goes By is on here. And track the stuff that dreams are made of. Garth Brooks, Sevens. This one has 2 Pina Coladas on it. Van Halen, 5150. Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1. Of course, has Handle with Care and End of the Line on here. Miss George Harrison and Roy Orbison, of course. ZZ Top, Eliminator. Some hair metal. The second, oh shoot, hate it when that happens. The second Dwenger album, In the Heart of the Young. I'll do it like this, it's a little lighter that way. This is the one with miles away on it. Everything's falling on me now. And last but not least, a comedy one. The Yoopers Culture Shock. You might have heard of the Yoopers, that they do stuff like 30-point buck and stuff like that. That's not on here, but Rusty Chevrolet's on here. And second week of deer camp and beer. Well, that's all I have for you this time. If you like this video, subscribe, leave comments of anything you saw in here. And until next time, take it easy and keep on rocking.